was born in Puerto Rico in 1930, and I joined the U.S. Army in October 1948, where I went on the basic training in Ponce, Puerto Rico, and after that for extensive training in Calley, Puerto Rico, Henry Barracks at Calley, Puerto Rico. From there, I was transferred to Panama to guard the Canal Zone. And during the time I was in Panama, I attended a few military schools, demolition school, tank school, and jungle warfare school. While I was in Panama, I was directed to leave Panama and aboard a ship where I joined the 65th Infantry Regiment, who was on its way to Korea. My brother was already in the Army. My brother was in the Army for the Second World War. And he got out of the Army for a while, and he went back into the Army. And he was in the Army, but we were in different battalions. I was in Puerto Rico, I was in the 2nd Battalion, and he was in the 1st Battalion. And in Korea, I was in the 3rd Battalion, and he was in the 2nd Battalion. So there was a great difference of distance between them and us, him and I. We didn't get to see each other frequently. My experience with my brother while in the Army was only social. We never fought together, or we never exercised military activity together. The only occasion that I was involved with my brother is that in one situation in Korea, the 2nd Battalion, Company E specifically, which was the company of my brother, had crossed a river, and we were behind Company E, Company I, the 3rd Battalion. And this river had a dam way up north from us. And the Chinese opened the dam, and what it was a walking river, it became a torrential river, very deep and very fast with a lot of water. And my brother was in the other side of the river from me, and the Chinese then opened fire on Company E. And after fighting for a while, Company E was ordered to retreat to the general area of Company I. And in that time, I encountered my brother and I fought with him for a while. What the 65th Regiment was assigned to do was what it was called an impossible mission. A mission whereby we were at the Yalu River on the North Korea, and the Chinese entered the Korean War. Till that point, we were fighting only North Korean soldiers. At that point, the Chinese entered the Korean War, and the 1st Marines Division was the point leader along the Yalu River. And they became overbearing by the Chinese. And they needed to have an escape route so they can withdraw their forces and avoid losing so many men as they had lost the first few days of the war, or the entrance of the Chinese into them. The 65th Infantry Regiment was selected to prepare a route to safeguard the withdrawal of the Marines. We did that, and we did that exceptionally well. We withdraw, the Marines withdraw with a loss of much less casualties that they would have suffered otherwise. And the 65th Infantry Regiment was closing behind the Marines. The Marines were withdrawing, and the Puerto Rican regiment, the 65th Regiment, was coming behind the Marines and protecting the flanks of the withdrawal route that we have prepared. Well, that was a big battle. We lost a large group of men and wounded and dead. The platoon that I had under my command at the end of the war in Korea, but at the end of my stay in Korea, because I got to Korea as a private first class, and I was promoted very rapidly to become a sergeant first class and a platoon leader. During the time that I was a platoon leader of a platoon of 40 men, I almost had a 80% change of loss of personnel during the time that I was there. So I say that I lost about 30 men myself during different combat situations that we encountered during that period of time. To talk about personal accomplishments is not right, because you are a team. And I never wanted to take credit alone for anything that it was done then, and I don't want to start now. The accomplishments that we made, well, the withdrawal of the Marines, I think it was a great accomplishment, and Company I was hit hard during that withdrawal. It was very cold, and Puerto Ricans do not take the cold very, very well. I myself suffered from frostbite, and I was evacuated from Kogori to Japan to recuperate from my frostbite in my feet. But I think that the accomplishment of I Company in the withdrawal of the Marines was an excellent one. The other one that we recall was the accomplishment in defending Seoul, the city of Seoul, for the second time or third time that we defend the city of Seoul from the North Koreans and the Chinese. We were stationed in the Wonsan River, northeast of the city of Seoul, and there we were attacked fiercely by the Chinese. You can tell when there was a Chinese army attacking you, because they had 5 soldiers per every rifle. And I remember that one night they attacked Company I, and we started fighting our machine guns. And next morning, the Chinese in the night would pick up a dead Chinese and carry it on their shoulders to die in the crossing of the river, and there was 2 bodies in the river now. So next morning, the Chinese crossed the river walking over their own bodies. We defended that situation. I think it was very professional.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna make the last question.
Well, I think that the Puerto Rican soldiers in Korea fought as good or better than any other soldier in the American Army. And he got less recognition in individual recognition to the soldiers, medals and so forth, than any other in the force. We got several silver stars. We got several bronze stars, but only several. A handful for the actions that we have done. There's some other people probably would have been recommended for a higher medal. If you were an American officer in the regiment, somebody will write your recommendation for the medal. But if you were a soldier, there was no time for that.